Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. One of my favorite milestones for each of my children was when they said their first words. I'm sure many of you remember this for your own children or perhaps other children that you love. The delight and surprise when suddenly that light bulb clicks on and they can connect the movement of their mouths and the sound of their voice to the world around them. That first word represents an identifying moment of individuality. It's a tangible step towards self-expression. Even if the word is something as simple as more or ducky or dada, and yes, those are the examples of each of my 3 children's first words. When our children first begin to speak, we listen with a sense of awe. And with this brand new syllable, we are bearing witness to growth and to change. Baby's first word is proof of the ongoing miracle of creation. On the other hand, who remembers their first tweet? Or perhaps the first tweet that you read, or the first tweet that you retweeted? I hope it's harder to remember. Because a first tweet doesn't hold that same sense of weight or the same profound sense of growth as other firsts do. And yet, since its beginning in 2006, Twitter has, in so many ways, reshaped the structure of global communication. The world has changed through the ease and speed of broadcasting and sharing a message in 140 short characters. For example, there are fundraising campaigns that have flourished on Twitter. You might remember the Ice Bucket Challenge, where people tweeted videos of themselves pouring a bucket of icy water over their heads, along with a pledge to raise money for ALS research. This enabled the ALS Association to increase its funding by 187%, a tremendous increase that brings the organization closer to a cure. Twitter has also been the birthplace of social movements that have changed the way that we engage with the world around us. From Me Too to Black Lives Matter, these are both Twitter-born hashtags that we now recognize and respond to in the general media. In these 140 characters, celebrities and politicians have been dethroned following impulsive jokes that didn't land well. And viral videos have brought so many people so much closer to their 15 minutes of fame, whether they wanted it or not. Social media is a new kind of communication. It's a new kind of creation. And unlike that baby that takes nearly a year to learn how to form a sound with meaning, we can fire off tweets as rapidly as a half-baked idea takes shape in our minds. Sometimes these 140 characters serve to build something better than what we had in place before. And sometimes these 140 characters are ground zero for destruction, signaling the beginning of the end for a career or a relationship or a product or an idea. When we read Torah, on the other hand, it's a different story altogether. Each word in Torah is intentional, a painstaking exactness. In Torah, we find not just meaning in the words themselves, but in their repetition, or sometimes in the lack thereof. We find connection to the other instances that each word appears, and we find modern resonance even in the most ancient ideas. When we read words of Torah, we discover a purpose that blooms and unfolds and reveals itself with each new unscrolling. This week at the end of Parshat Bo, after the 10th and final plague has been unleashed on Egypt and its inhabitants, Torah speaks to us about its own purpose. V'haya lecha leot al yadecha ulzikaron beinenecha lema'an tehiyeh Torat Adonai bifecha. This shall serve you as a sign on your hand and a reminder on your forehead, so that the teaching of Adonai may be in your mouth. With these words, the Israelites are reminded that one day Future generations will carry the communal memory of the Exodus from Egypt. This parsha is not only narration, it is also a prediction and a declaration of the Jewish obligation to always, always tell the story. It is a reminder to tell it with intention, to tell it as if we ourselves were the ones who fled from Pharaoh's grasp because we too were slaves in Egypt, to make these words our own. We Jews are a hyper-verbal people. You've met us. From the very first moments of the earth's existence, God creates, not with matter or with magic, but with words. Let there be light, God says, and there is light. The whole world is built with words. The whole universe is built out of divine sentence and phrase, and it is all recorded with exacting care and control in our sacred scroll. This past Wednesday, as I'm sure you've heard, was a big day in our country. There were so many speeches, so many articles, so many tweets, so many songs, so many emotions, so many tears. There were so many words. Yet for many, when looking back at the proceedings of the day, one moment stands out. Amanda Gorman, at 22 years old, was the youngest ever inaugural poet. And in a striking yellow coat, she shone like a ray of sunshine on that cold winter day as she spoke to the American people. With confidence, she shared a message of hope and healing, of beauty and unity. Passionately, she urged us. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover. And every known nook of our nation and every corner called our country, our people diverse and beautiful will emerge, battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. She is asking us with these incredible, intentional words if we are ready to reconcile, if we are ready to recover from the fractures and the fissures and the space that has come between us. Amanda Gorman took our breath away when she spoke, not simply because of her beauty or her youth or her strength, but because of her words. Because words have meaning and words have power, because we build the world with words. And these were such strong, careful, constructing words. Whether we are elated or distraught, excited for the next 4 years or terrified, we all have a choice of how we will use our words when we look back and as we look forwards. We decide about whether we dwell on what divided us or if we focus on what can heal us. We all have the power to make meaning with every utterance, to choose words that bring us closer together instead of pushing us further apart. We decide if we will be like God and use our words to be creators of a world that we want to live in. Gorman explained in an interview with NPR that in preparation for this honor, she studied orators who had used their words to bring people together. Speakers like Winston Churchill, Abraham Lincoln, and Frederick Douglass. She studied the ways that rhetoric has been used for good. She sought to speak in the image of these great men, speakers who used their platforms for progress. And her wise beyond her years intentionality reminds us that we all have the ability and the capacity to use our own rhetoric for good. And Torah paints that picture for us this week of our ancestors and ourselves. La'ot al yadecha ulzikaron bein einecha. We carry holy strength in our hands and on our foreheads. Torah reminds us, Torat Adonai beficha, that we hold holy words in our mouths. And it is our responsibility to share them with our children, to tell the story of how we came together, of how we were a part of the change. Like a baby who first learns that he can say milk, and a loving caretaker will make milk appear. We too are charged to speak into being the world that we want to live in. Like God's first performative utterance, "Let there be light," we too can open our mouths and put into the world a good rhetoric that is inspired by the light of Torah. Whether or not the results of Wednesday were the results that we chose, we can all declare a fresh start. We can start with connecting words. Words like, "I love you," or "I'm sorry," or "How can I help?" We start with intentional words. Words like "no" and "yes," or "I need space," or "I need to draw closer to you." We start with powerful words, the kind that can change us from the people we are today to the people we yearn to be. Words like "I do," or "I can." Words like "I hear you." Words like "let's start over," "let's try again." We can build a world with words. We can rebuild our world with words. Not a flippant 140 characters, but the poetry of our yearning with careful words, intentional words, holy words, and loving words. This is the power that connects the depth of our minds to the strength of our hands. This is the power that binds the past to today and today to tomorrow. We hold it right here in our mouths, on the tips of our tongues. These words, our words, are the words that will change the world.
Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. It's the song of the dreamer. From the dark place it grows, like a flower in the desert, the oasis of our souls. Come back where we belong. You who hear our longing sighs, our mouths, our lips are filled with song. You can see our tear-filled eyes. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy.
And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division.
Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Yeshua Koach, Rabbi, and thank you guys so much for putting those beautiful words from earlier this week together with Rabbi Mason Barkin's beautiful words and the beautiful setting of the music. I think we can all feel that confidence that joy will come, that we will get to the other side of this, if only we can do it together. Alavai. This is a great parsha, Bo. Rabbi Mason Barkin only mentioned a few verses of Bo, so tomorrow morning you can join her at 9 a.m. in the Zoom room for Torah study, 9 a.m. as we continue to study not only Bo, but this wonderful, wonderful story that symbolizes something that we get to celebrate in a couple months, which is Passover. We get to hear about the last few plagues, a little bit about the first Passover. There's so much stuff, I don't even know what you're going to pick. So much.
We're going to talk about redeeming the firstborn.
Ooh, redeeming the firstborn, which is better than killing the firstborn, if I may say so myself. Lunch and Learn continues this Tuesday. We will wrap up January on January 26th from noon to 1 p.m. We have our last that I'm leading for this month, conversation with the topic, an introduction to epidemiology. Say that 10 times fast. And we get to study with Congregation Beth Israel member Susan Sachs, Ph.D. And Susan's going to be presenting on this idea of epidemiology, not the idea, but the definition and what it is. You know, we're all experts now in infectious disease. I know many of our news people think that they're experts in infectious disease, but we are too, as it turns out. But she doesn't play one on TV. She is an actual expert of the science of behind the study of infectious diseases. So Susie's going to be presenting. We're going to be having, as we've been doing the last few weeks, the format where I'll sort of interview and ask her some questions, and then we'll open it up to the community. Feel free to look at last week's Lunch and Learn, which can be found on our YouTube page. Thank you, Josh, for teeing that up for us. And we'll see you this Tuesday. And then good for us, the momentum keeps going because the following Tuesday will be the first Tuesday in February. Rabbi Mason Barkin will be taking over Lunch and Learn for the month of February, and then Cantor Ettinger in March. We will continue the rotation, and we hope that you will be joining us. Not this Saturday, I'm sorry, a week from tomorrow, January 30th at 6:30 p.m. after Shabbat, we are going to host a musical evening entitled Dear Debbie, a virtual tribute concert to Debbie Friedman, hosted by our very own Cantor Ettinger and featuring rabbis, cantors, soloists from across the valley. This will be like the third or fourth time that our cantor has hosted and organized a musical event, if you will, a musical event, a musical review, but only with Debbie Friedman music. And we've all been touched by a song, if not numerous songs that Debbie Friedman wrote and composed. But Cantor, I'm so proud
of you for doing this yet again, getting all of the cantors and the soloists together. It's going to be hosted on our YouTube channel, so you don't have to worry about Zoom, which is great. More information can be found on our website. That again is a week from tomorrow evening. I think we're going to begin with Havdalah and then go right into the concert. So we're really excited for that. And don't forget to join Rabbi Mason Barkin as we continue during the pandemic to offer lots of daytime and some evenings program. We're running about 3 or 4 online programs, virtual programs a week just to keep everyone engaged and together. So please don't forget to join Rabbi Mason Barkin every single Thursday at 3 p.m. for Coffee Talk. And you can find the information on the website as well. Coffee Talk is an open forum for Rabbi Mason Barkin to just meet with and greet and check in with a whole bunch of members. So we hope to see you every Thursday at 3 p.m. And I even make a cameo from time to time if I happen to be by the office. So I'm going to turn it over to Rabbi Mason Barkin now so that she can give a explanation of this wonderful Tu B'Shvat program that's coming to you, if not received today, maybe received over the weekend.
It's hitting your mailboxes on Monday. So this week you're going to get a postcard in the mail that has on one side a list of blessings that you can use when you are out in nature. Since we can't go for the hike together that I wanted to, I'm hoping that we can all do our own outdoor activities and infuse it with the Tu B'Shvat spirit. So keep an eye for a postcard in the mail with blessings on one side and a little invitation from us to join us as a part of this CBI Outside project. You can tweet it, you can put it on Facebook, you can send us an email, but we'll put all of those photographs together of you with your blessings outdoors, whether you're sitting on your patio having a drink or going for a hike or walking the dog. Take some time to infuse that with a little bit of extra, spirituality, holiness,
Love it.
Judaism.
Yeah.
Yeah. The postcard is small. It's meant to be so you can stick it in your pocket, bring your magnifying glass, and have a great time.
Or your progressives.
That too. Big thanks to Josh Goodman, our new media communication specialist.
You're
who
getting
put
a lot
it
of
all
shout-outs
together.
tonight, Josh.
He's been really busy.
Yeah. And thanks for taking care of making sure everyone's happy on YouTube. And Stephanie, as always, thank you. And Jackie, as always, thank you. And it's great to have us all together again. And we are going to conclude now with Aleinu and Kaddish, page 586 or 282. Together, please stand.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
On this Shabbat, we share our deepest sympathies as we note the passing of the following people who were recently laid to their eternal rest, whose families now observe Shiva and Shloshim. Harvey Dietrich, husband of Marnie Dietrich. Harriet Esther Robbins, wife of Martin Robbins, mother of Michael Robbins. Bill L. Ballard, father of Allison Kierman. Marcia Handelman, mother of Deborah and Steve Zionitz. Judy Daisy, sister of Carol Drackler. Bernard Goodman, grandfather of Josh Goodman. Saul Moretsky, husband of Rita Moretsky, brother of Dr. Sanford Moretsky. Diane Sandler, wife of Stephen Sandler, mother of Andrea Svetley. Suzanne Goldman, mother of Randy Miller. And on the Shabbat, we recall with love and affection those of our congregational family whose yard sites occur this week. Benjamin Aaron, Martha B. Arstein, Janet Baker, Sherman Bendelin, Albert Berger, Bernard Bortnick, Fanny Cohen, Stephen Doobie, Morton Edelman, Miriam Escrew, David Eskenazi, Sylvia Friedman, Roger Gettleman, Francis Goldschmidt, Myrna Finkelman-Hames, Sally G. Haskis, Nolan M. Horowitz, Molly Israel, Charles Kalina, Jeremy Kane, Joseph Cantor, Robert Carrots, Samuel Casket, Rose Kiviet, Alvin Lee Klupt, Ellen Cohn, Stephen Arnold Krigsfeld, Shirley Leibovitz, Yale Liederman, Martha Levin, Robert Lewine, David Lieberman, Esther Lebo, Ben Moretsky, Frida Nemero, George Perlmutter, Samuel Pizzanti, Benjamin Ritter, Vincent Rockler, Edith Siegel, Shirley Seidberg, Millard Selden, Jerome Schultz, Harold Wiseman, Roz Wolf. Please, if you wish to at this time, feel free to type the name of a loved one into the remarks section where it says description on the YouTube page so that we may take them into our hearts with our own loved ones. And on this Shabbat, as is our custom, we recall with love the 6 million who perished in the Shoah, including the 1.5 million children who have no one to say Kaddish for them, and the soldiers and civilians of the state of Israel who have given their lives for our Jewish homeland. May their souls all be bound up in the bonds of eternal life. Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 598, 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah, be'alma divrach hirutei, ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv imru, amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevorach le'alam le'amei amaya, yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu, le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, Tishbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. V'seh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to those who are grieving, as together we say, amen.
It's the song of the dreamer. From the dark place it grows, like a flower in the desert, the oasis of our souls. Come back where we belong, you who hear our longing sighs. Mouths, our lips are filled with song. You can see our tear-filled eyes. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy.
Shabbat Shalom. Let's join together for some Kiddush and Motzi. Cantor, great having you back.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. כי הוא יום תהילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן.
לחיים. It's a challah.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המוציא לחם מן הארץ. Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
From the dark place it grows, like a flower in the desert, the oasis of our souls. Come back where we belong. You who hear our longing sighs, our mouths, our lips are filled with song.